Hi everyone, welcome to ITPK. In today's video, we will see the steps on how we can onboard new starters to our business using a fish resistance MFA. Okay, we all know some of these basic things. Number one, password are not always secure method. Number two, multi-factor authentication is good. And the number three that fish resistance MFA, which is the best. It will be perfect that all of our users will start using fish resistance MFA to access the corporate devices and Microsoft 365 applications. But the question is how we can achieve all of this in Microsoft 365. That's simple. We can achieve this by using or setting up temporary access password, Windows Hello for Business, authentication strength, Passkeys, and the conditional access policy. Okay, let's dive into it. The first step of video is to enable temporary access Passkeys. So I'm logged into my Office 365 tenant as a global administrator. Let's go to admin center from here. From admin center here, we're supposed to go to identity. Once we come in identity here under protection, let's go to authentication methods. Once we navigate to authentication methods, you can see these are all the authentication method here we could enable, right? So let's go ahead. Passkey Fedo02. We want to enable this. Let's click on enable, and we don't want it for all users currently, right? We want to add a separate group first for verification. Uh, let's add a group here. You could also exclude any group if you want to exclude this while you are selecting all user. Let's go to configure tab. So on the configure tab, make sure these options are selected like this as it's selected on my end, and we want to use Microsoft Authenticator. One of these is for Android and second is for iOS devices, right? If I go here, you can see iOS Microsoft Authenticator, Android Microsoft Authenticator. So perfect. And let's select this to allow. So now let's go ahead and click on save. We also want to enable the next option here, and that is temporary access pass. Let's go into it. So again, enable it, select the group. I don't want to add all group right now. Once I have verified, I will add every user and group here. Let's go to configure tab, and here we have some information that minimum lifetime 1 hour per passkey, maximum lifetime 8 hour, default lifetime 1 time, and the length of the character. You can change anything from here if required. Minimum lifetime for the password is 1 hour. So after that 1 hour, that password will be expired. So the temporary password expiration time is maximum 1 hour. That's very perfect. And in the character, I don't want to change character. So in the next option, you can see it by name that require one time use. If the user log in for the one time for 1 hour, and if he or she accidentally log out before that 1 hour, they will not be able to log in again. So to reduce the user's login problem, I want to give them complete 1 hour for temporary access password. So let's update this. So let's go ahead and click on save this. That's perfect. We have set up our authentication method that we required and that we want to show in this video, right? The next step is to create new authentication strength in Microsoft 365. This means that only the authentication type I enabled or I created could be used. So on the same screen in the authentication method, let's go to authentication strength. So here Microsoft have different type of authentication methods here. So let's go to the first method, in which Microsoft gave medium assurance authentication strength that includes multi-factor, for example, password or SMS. So usually this authentication method it gives and allows most MFA method combinations which you could think of like SMS, voice, or token or many other. And it also gives a password or SMS, which could be the weaker MFA authentication type. So now let's go ahead and see passwordless MFA. We have also the passwordless MFA and we have phishing resistant MFA type. So let's leave all of these methods as they are and go ahead and create a customized authentication method here. So I have named this temporary auth strength and here we want to select Windows Hello for Business, Passkey, certificate based authentication, multi-factor, and there are some others we want to select here. Temporary access pass, one-time use, temporary access pass, multi-use. So I need all of these which I have selected here and I am not selecting any other method here. Let's click next. Okay, now I have enabled these methods and it's giving me some caution. You the administrator are not enabled for this authentication method. You the administrator are not enabled for this authentication method because we are deploying this authentication method on a group of users first, right? We could add only one user into that group just to test first. Once we are verified, then we could deploy this authentication method to all of the users. Let's go ahead and click create. Now it's creating a customized authentication method for us and that is here in the list. So as discussed earlier, in the next step, I will go forward and I will create a conditional access policy. So let's go ahead and create new policy. And the policy is about enforce pass keys for Office 365 apps. So let's go ahead in the assignment section and select the users or group we want to add that in our just conditional access policy. Make sure don't lock yourself, right? And always make sure that if you wanna test any policy on a single user, make sure you created a single group and add a single user into that group, right? Because this is the best practice. And the next option, target resource, I wanna select all cloud apps. So I don't want to define any network boundary or conditions here. Let's go to grant access. Now here we want to grant access by selecting require authentication strength. And in the authentication strength, we have the option of that company auth strength. This is the method we have created few minutes ago and I am happy to see that method in our conditional access options. So let's select this customized method we have set up earlier. So now let's scroll down and click on select and I don't want to keep this conditional access policy to report only. I want to turn this on immediately. Let's click create. Because I'm not sure of anything, I have added only one group. I didn't edit all of the users into this conditional access policy. So we have created all of the configuration. Now let's go ahead and create a test user and we'll add that test user into that specific group that is passwordless authentication methods here. So let me create a test user here. We will test on this user. Let's go ahead and create a test user here. Test user. I want to name it T user. Let's click on next. Here, let's assign the license enterprise mobility plus security E3. Let's click next. Again, next. Here, don't worry about the password. Let's finish it adding. We will add this user to that specific group which we have set up in our conditional access and MFA requirement policies. Let's go in the members and add test user here. Okay, that's perfect. So let's say this test user come to the office for the first time and asks how can I get started. So what we will respond to a user that please Download a Microsoft Authenticator application on your iPhone or Android. Until that, we are generating a temporary password for you because we are not going to use passwords in this business because they are not very secure, and in this business we like security. So while a test user is downloading an authenticator app on his or her mobile, let's go to users, all users, and here we're supposed to find their specific test user here. Let's open that. Let's go to authentication methods. So here we can see there is no authentication method set up by this user or assigned by this user. So switch to new user authentication method. Click here how to use this. So now we are switching to new display, and let me show you no method is defined here, right? And here we want to assign that specific authentication method with temporary access pass. Here we have the option of delay start time. For example, we were creating this user account on the Friday afternoon and this user was supposed to start on Monday morning. Then we can select this delay start time here. Not gonna so I'm not gonna use this and I will go ahead and click on add. Now it's adding temporary access password. Now you can see this temporary password has been provided. So now in the next step, this user have to go to their mobile phone authenticator app that is downloaded on the mobile phone, right? In the mobile phone, user have to open that authenticator app. Once the user open that authenticator app in mobile phone and go to plus icon, in the plus icon there will be the option to add work or school account, right? Once user took option, click on the option of work or school account and click on sign in, and after clicking on sign in, user have to enter the email and the temporary X password details which is shown here. So once this user will put this temporary password and log in Microsoft Authenticator app with temporary pass access, obviously after that this user will still need to log in onto laptop or computer. So the option for the laptop to set up the Windows Hello for Business. So now this user could use the method we have selected, temporary passkey Windows Hello for Business, and once this user will log in into device for the first time, this user don't need to remember their passwords. So that's all about today's video. Thanks for watching. Keep watching and don't forget to subscribe for new updates.